Hey everybody, so this week, in just the next couple of days, I'm going to release a song called All for Nothing.
I wanna cry but I can't. How many times I gotta write just to rant? How many songs I gotta make till the hell? Seem like a nightmare, but this shit real.
And I just wanted to give a short description on what the song is actually about. So All for Nothing touches on a lot of things. It touches on immense depression.
Such a relieving thought, not having any thoughts are negative. You wanna tie a knot and hang from a road. Fuck, nobody understands.
A lot of it about is the struggle with the guilt that I feel as a full-time father to a special needs son, all of the things that comes with. And so the intro of this song is more specifically about one of my son's first therapy sessions and the day that he was diagnosed. And if there's any other special needs parents out there, I think one of the most difficult things to repeat is your child's diagnosis, depending on what they were diagnosed with. If it's like cognitive delay or impairment, the words they use, I almost don't even feel comfortable repeating it. Actually, I mean, I never do, honestly, but I just wanted to explain a little bit about what the song is about. One of the biggest fears about making any content that's related to anything to do with my son, whether it be my motivational posts, my stuff on IG, parenting advice, anything that comes back to my son's diagnosis, it's a very conflicting feeling. Because for one, you worry about them ever seeing the video and how they would take it, assuming they understood what you're actually saying. And it's something that's always in the back of my mind whenever I share anything about him and my situation as a father. It's very conflicting because it feels hurtful to put his information or his diagnosis out there. But depending on your family or your child's case, maybe they won't really comprehend it. And that is the case of my situation, is that I hope, and there is a chance that he won't really comprehend exactly what I'm saying, because me having to explain it to him is just like the most heartbreaking thing that I could even imagine having to do. But it reflects in all of my music. My music for me has been a therapy through everything that I've gone through with being a full-time father and all the difficulties that come with this specific circumstance. Music has been my therapy for all the most difficult things in my life, and so has pretty crazy training. But since dealing with health issues, the training hasn't really been as much of a possible outlet for me to get through some things. So I'm thankful to music and writing for that. But the day that my son was diagnosed was actually an extremely difficult day, and an extremely difficult prior and following day, because of a lot of things that happened between me and my son's mother. Don't want to get into too much detail about that, but me and his mother had a very rocky relationship, to say the least. Can't really say I foresaw that once I had him that I'd be doing the majority of the work on my own, but for the last 10 years, it's been primarily me, with his mother moving out of the city for a very large chunk of his life. But I'm forever grateful to be able to be that person for my son and to be the father that I never had. And like I said, it's always conflicting. If you have children with special needs, it's very conflicting. It's an immense love. More so, it's just almost an unbearable amount of empathy sometimes for what your child is feeling, what you can't help them with, the pain that they might feel. It's unbearable at times. But what started out very difficult in a lot of different aspects with my relationship with my son just grew into this amazing relationship with my boy. Like, honestly, he's 12 years old and he is just my best friend. He's my best friend and has been for a good chunk of my life, and the connection that I feel with him I'm forever grateful for. But given his circumstances, there's been there's been so many difficulties: bullying at schools, kids not understanding, him getting picked on, me having to transfer him schools that are very far away from our home, driving 2 hours a day to get him to and from school where there was less bullying. And my son is the sweetest boy, super loving. I just wish that more parents would take the time to explain to their children that there's other children out there that have traits and things that they may struggle with, or that they can't help, or just that, some kids are different. And I really wish that other parents out there would just take some time, especially before sending their kids to school, just take the time to explain that there are certain kids with these certain situations, and that, just try to show them some compassion and understanding. I know it's difficult and it's almost inevitable, but it's just a thing that I wish parents and kids were more conscious about. But All for Nothing, this song touches on that, the ups and downs, the emotional difficulties of having to deal with a certain situation, and a lot of other things. But I definitely feel much more of a push, especially these last few years, because I've just developed such an amazing relationship with my son that just, even though I talk about how stressful it has been, doing this alone and going through all the ups and downs of special needs parenting, like, I have to say, I feel this guilt, but it's completely honest, that I'm so grateful for my relationship with my son. He's my best friend, and just so thankful for him. He's one of the best kids I know. Super sweet, super loving, super caring, and talented. But despite all of these things, at the end of the day, not every day is bright. Not every day is easy to get through. Not every day of bullying and misunderstanding and not being able to have a regular or a full conversation with your child. It's one of the most difficult things you can imagine. And a lot of days, you know, you go by and you feel so alone, and so much weight is on your shoulders to give them all the love and all the support, and to make sure that they are seeing and meeting their full potential, and that, you know, we're not dropping the ball ourselves with making sure that they can meet that potential. And it's a challenge. And a lot of times we can give all that love, and depending on our children's abilities, maybe they can't reciprocate, maybe they can't give you the same communication. I don't know how many nights I wish I could just have some different or more, you know, normal conversations with my boy and get more eye contact with him, and how much that would mean to me and how much it affects me not getting that a lot of the time. It's definitely one of the most difficult things I think a parent can experience. So it has caused a lot of ups and downs, a lot of depression, and a lot of trying to find inner strength and inner peace and working through these challenges, and still trying to make sure that I'm the best father that I can be for my boy. And, you know, not being a father, not being a present father was never even a consideration for me. My father was never around. For one, he got deported when I was about 11 years old. And even before he got deported, I never really knew much about him. So it was never a consideration for me to not try to be the best father that I could be. And I knew that I always wanted to be a parent. I can't say I was ready when I did become a parent. I was pretty young, but unplanned circumstances happened, and I've been trying to do my best for the last 12 years ever since. So that is kind of briefly what the song is about. I know there's a lot more to it. It's not all just about that relationship with my boy and what that was like, but it is a huge part of what the song is about. Coming up from a pretty troubled childhood, getting into a lot of trouble, an acquaintance of mine getting shot and murdered and nearly dying in my arms, being homeless, growing up with my mother, bouncing all around Sacramento, and just a lot of ups and downs in life, as I'm sure we all have. But definitely have struggled with depression for a huge chunk of my life, and that's why music is such a huge outlet for me, and that's why 90% of what I write about is kind of like therapy to me, and working through all of these challenges that I experience. So I know that I didn't talk about a whole lot about the song, but that is a brief description of what the song is about, and I just wanted to share that. And I just wanted to give a little bit of extra context to the song before I put it out. But it's gonna be coming out here in the next couple of days. So I'm gonna put this video up first, and then if anyone was curious, they can see a little bit more of what the song was about through this vlog. To anyone who's ever watched any of my videos, left any feedback, it's extremely appreciated. My music, the art I make, the vlogs, it really means the most to me. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I will catch you on the next one. All right.